Okay, a question I'd like to ask is if DarkMatter2525 is a Luciferian. This is his newest video here, and if you don't know Dark Matter, he's, I'm assuming it's a he, is pretty much just one big troll on the Bible. That's all of his videos are about basically how stupid the Bible is, and how ridiculous it is. He makes fun of it, and it's just a big joke. His whole channel is just a big joke mocking the Bible and straw manning and doing all these things like that. But I was watching this video that he did recently, and it seems that it has Luciferian themes in it, which is kind of bizarre. And if you look here, I mean, he might have just liked the checkered floor and stuff, but that is definitely Illuminati, Luciferian. You know, that's in the Masonic, you know, every Masonic temple and a lot of Masonic temples is this checkered floor. So you'll notice that this is how a lot of them mark their territories, by putting checkers floors on their things. So, but he might have just liked that. But the themes here in this video are very Luciferian. And if you don't understand what Luciferians believe, they're not Satanists, okay? They're not Wiccans. There's differences between these groups, and we have to recognize that as Christians. Now, of course, as Christians, we see it all as one big clump together that is evil, that is wrong, that is sinful. But they don't see it like that, and although they have some common core themes amongst them with magic and the manipulation of spirits and different things like that, and very Eastern religious at the core of a lot of their religious philosophies and spiritual philosophies, there are differences. Luciferians believe that Lucifer is a being of light that is actually the good guy who tried to help humanity and defeat Yahweh, who is the evil. They're kind of Gnostic in a way. Some of them trace their roots back to Gnosticism, and they see Yahweh, the God of the Bible, you know, the Old Testament specifically too, as evil, as the God that's trying to keep knowledge from us, right? And so they see Lucifer as kind of the good guy of the story. And they're different than Satanists because they believe in dualism, whereas Satanists kind of just focus on the dark side, whereas Luciferians are more, it's both together, you know, the good and the bad together. And of course there's even differences amongst Luciferians, but these are common trends. So I just want to watch this here, and notice the Gnostic themes here that is very Luciferian. Let's watch his presentation here.
Perhaps this will make things easier for you.
Okay, so what had just happened here is this man had just died, and you can see on a screen that he's a computer program that's being downloaded. Okay, and so now this person here that's going to arrive, that's we don't know who this person is, but he's going to attack Yahweh and stuff, and talk about Lucifer as this woman. But anyway, he's going to kind of explain what's happening here.
Hey, I grew up in this house, but how can that be?
It was torn down years ago.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
I know.
Well, how did you know?
We simply had this conversation before. I came back and told you what you were going to say. It's the same principle that allowed us to come back to a house that was torn down years ago.
I don't understand what's going on.
You were part of a simulation. All of your thoughts and feelings, everything you ever were, was the product of lines of code. You don't actually have a body. That's just an illusion. What you would call your life was in actuality the function of a computer program, playing itself out.
I'm not real?
Well, of course you're real. It's just that the nature of your existence is different than what you thought it was.
This is very Gnostic. It's a modern day spin on it, with everything being a computer program, right? But our bodies aren't real, or the nature of them is not how we think they are. there's another ethereal, spiritual realm like the Gnostics. This is very Luciferian. This is what many Luciferians believe.
When you're born into the illusion becomes your reality.
So, I'm not dead?
No.
Please, I need to see my family. Can you take me to my family?
He had a breakdown. We could make...
So let's fast forward here and look at another scene. It's at 8 minutes. So if you notice here, it's very, very Gnostic, very...
250 years before finally deciding to let himself die in that accident again. How long was that for you? Oh, about a half hour.
Hi, Dad.
So just to catch up, what had happened was he decided to go back and be with his daughter rather than join him, this guy in the white shirt, in the real world, right? So again, very Gnostic, there's another ethereal world that's real, and this world is an illusion, so to speak. So finally he decides to die and to go and be with this person and see the real world.
What's waiting for me out there? In the real world?
Yahweh. This simulation belongs to him.
Yahweh? You mean God? So there really is a God?
I don't know. I doubt it.
But
just because you were created, it doesn't mean there is a God. Everything you perceived as the universe, including yourself, was created by people, mere mortals.
But you just said that Yahweh does exist.
Yes, but he's no God. The simulation in which you lived was created to test him, to see how he would respond to having ultimate authority. One way to learn what someone is truly like is to give them power. You've heard the saying, power corrupts, right?
Yeah.
That is also an illusion. Power doesn't actually cause corruption. It merely reveals the corruption that already resides within us. If someone who is not corrupt is given power, then they will wield that power responsibly. If someone is corrupt, then their power will reflect that corruption as it enables the temptations to which they succumb. To know for sure, they must be given power, but that's very risky. So we give people ultimate authority.
Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but on Yahweh, this is Yahweh right here, this character here. You can see it. You should maybe be able to see. He has a lightning bolt on his chest, and that is a Luciferian symbol of Lucifer falling from heaven. That is a Luciferian symbol. So I don't think you can see it on there, but it is there. There's a lightning bolt. If you watch his video here, I think about 9 minutes, he has a lightning bolt right there, which is a Luciferian symbol.
In simulations to see if they can be trusted.
Or a satanic symbol.
That is the purpose of the simulation in which you exist. That is the reason for your existence. You are a character in Yahweh's test.
But you said we're sentient. So rather than face the risk of some lunatic having ultimate power, you expose us to that risk?
Yahweh's a lunatic. Okay, this is Lucifer, the very Luciferian. Very Luciferian. So anyway, let's move on.
Not everyone respects artificial intelligence the way I do. I first came here as an intern, merely to observe Yahweh. I wasn't really supposed to encourage him one way or the other, but I did anyway. I tried to protect the people of this simulation from him.
So that's it? We're just props in some test? What becomes of us when the test is over?
You're usually archived. Your life was shaped by the circumstances that existed in your time and place within the simulation, and shaped by how you reacted to those circumstances. When all that is said and done, you are stored in a file.
There's a new take
Essentially,
on it with
everything that happens to everyone in your simulation amounts to evidence saved to justify Yahweh's score.
So he's saying this is a dangerous idea, which means it's
how Yahweh
kind of
is graded.
Huh. And how did Yahweh do?
You tell me. What do you know of heaven?
It's a place we go after we die, to spend eternity.
And eternity doing what?
Worshipping Yahweh.
Does that sound like a responsible or respectable use of power to you?
No.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, DarkMatter2525. It is. If God created this, and of course you're totally stripping away the premises of Christianity, if God created this universe and created us for him, then it would be a good thing. And we would be... We're talking about a being here that is the ground of all being. He's the aseity of God is a key doctrine in Christianity. Okay? And so for us as creatures to try to go off and be our own entity without God is like a tree breaking off from its, or like a branch breaking off from the tree, or a leaf breaking off from a tree. It's going to wither and die, and that is what hell is. Okay? So, yes, worshiping God is a glorious thing. And if you've ever tasted the love and the joy and the peace of God, worshiping God for all eternity will be the most magnificent thing that you could possibly do. Now, that's not the only thing that we'll be doing in heaven, but that will be one of the glorious things to do, is to worship God, to be in him, and to enjoy his presence for all eternity. It is a respectable thing, dark matter. And we're going to deal with your morality here in the next video, which is just a joke. More jargon from an atheist talking about morality without an objective foundation. Okay? It's just subjective, baseless opinion, and it's jargon. It's nothingness. Okay, so we're going to deal with that in the next video.